If you're not pansexual, does that mean that you are shallow? Would you agree that women are more complicated than men?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, in the short answer, yes, in certain situations.
Are men too simple to understand women, or are women just too complex to be understood?
I think that men are too simple to understand women. I think that women are too complex.
I don't think it's about women being more complex than a guy. I think it's that we just go about things differently. Maybe in that way, since it's different, and by different it's in that their different way is complex. But I don't know. It doesn't seem like girls are more complex. It seems they're just different. I guess you could say a guy is more simple. But is it that a girl is more complex because he is simple, or is it because, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I just don't think men ask enough questions. Like, I think, like, women are very vulnerable. Like, I think most women I know, like, are going to tell you, like, yo, this is an issue. Like, fix this. Hello, hello, hello. And then, you know, I mean, what do they say? What's the statistics of divorce? Like, 80% of women, like, you know, initiate divorces. And then men are like, oh, my God, I didn't know what happened. Like, bitch, your wife was telling you for the past 12 years, like, what she needed, and you didn't do it, so.
Is it?
I can see what she means by that, but I think, like, in general, people need to ask better questions. And it's not, asking better questions is one way, is a good way for relationships, just in general, to be healthy. Even when it comes to yourself, the relationship with yourself. And when it comes to anything that you want to understand and be in good standing and being of understanding and asking good questions about it and to it, is one of the best ways to get to it. But even before asking great questions comes with the care. You know, because you're not going to ask a good question without caring about something enough to even ask the good question. You know, like, you got to actually have the care, the interest to actually be like, you know what, I need to figure this out. And that's when you find those questions to ask that are a little more descriptive or intricate.
Is it better to be complicated or to be simple?
I think it's better to be complicated. Gives you depth. Better to be complicated, but in the dating sense, probably better to be simple. Easier to manipulate.
Why is it better to be complicated if it's harder to be understood?
Because when someone can understand you, they understand all those complex parts of you, and then I feel like you get a deeper connection. Yeah, same here. I feel like there's more to dig into and more layers to uncover, but in the long run, it might not work out, but yeah.
Women?
I think when it comes to being complicated and being simple, it's better. It's really like both. It's not better to be complicated or it's better to be simple. And even then, when it comes to complicated, is it that it's complicated or is that it's complex? Maybe those two are the same thing. I could be wrong, but you know, you're gonna want both. I think you're gonna want both. Like, sometimes things are better. Some things should just be simple, and some things, you know, should have some more levels to it or more complexity to it.
Men often describe themselves as complicated, emotional, even crazy. Do you think women actually want to be understood?
Yes.
Wouldn't that hold them to a standard?
They kind of do, but they kind of don't. They want to be understood by the guys that they want to be understood by, basically.
It's complicated because we say, like, we want something, but then we just say that to make you feel like we want something else. Like, when our partner's going out to get some food, oh, we don't want any food, but as soon as you come back, you didn't get me anything? Yeah, so it's basically, it is complicated.
And I see, that's the thing, too. It's like, if you're a girl, right, and when it comes to, like, one of those kind of tests, when you're like, oh, you know, no, I don't want any food, but then they don't get you food. And you're like, whoa, why didn't he didn't give me food? You know what I mean? Like, of course you said it, but that's not what you meant, right? It's, when it comes to things like that, I think it's better when, it's honestly better if you just communicate that. Because either you gotta expect the guy to know what you mean, or you gotta communicate what you mean. Or if anything, be direct, you know, or, but yes.
Women were easily understood. Wouldn't that hold them accountable?
Yes. Yes.
Wouldn't that make it harder to manipulate?
Yes.
Is there any better manipulation strategy than remaining an unidentifiable threat?
Guilt tripping. That always works.
That's the best tactic you can use, and that's a tactic they use all the time. Definitely.
If you understand your woman and you understand why she say this shit she say, do this shit she do, then she can't manipulate you. But if you don't understand why she do the shit she do, then she for sure gonna be able to run circles around you, manipulate you, all types of shit.
I mean, like, why would you even be with someone that you don't understand? Like, of course, you gotta know everything about somebody, like every single little thing. But if you don't understand somebody, I don't know, like, you don't really know who you're with, right?
Let's say if you're goofy.
Is it easier to manipulate somebody if you can just claim that you're crazy and you...
Yeah, oh, definitely, yeah. I feel like it's kind of like when people are like, oh, I'm crazy because this zodiac sign. It's, you know, like, I was like this my whole life. Like, yeah, definitely. And I think some people can fall for it, but it's probably on the other person and be like, all right, I'm not dealing with this person's shit.
Would you want to live with or commit to someone who admits to being crazy?
No, because they're not willing to change. They're just accepting that they're crazy and I'm going to do crazy shit, so you should accept it. And
why do so many women admit to being complicated, emotional, even crazy, and think that's acceptable behavior?
It's today's times. Like, people are just out of their minds nowadays. So it's like, it's accepted by everybody. It's glorified all over the place with media, music.
Yeah, I think, like, being crazy, I used to kind of have pride in being crazy or something. Like, it's interesting how, like, being crazy or, like, oh, kind of like you gotta be handled, or can you be maintained, or, you know, I'm not sure if romanticize is the word, but, you know, it's sort of something that it seems cool, or, yeah, I don't know why that's like a thing, like, to be crazy. Because that essentially means that you're, you know what I mean? Like, you're not stable, I guess, you know? I mean, nobody wants to...
TikTok, internet, Instagram, all that.
That's what they've been all their life. You gotta think like, that's just them, you feel me? Women don't even understand themselves. Sometimes they do something, don't even understand why they did the shit.
On me, yeah, you know? I guess in that sense, it's not that, like, I guess they aren't crazy, but they are. It's more like, just due to their complexity and due to their own not understanding themselves, it's not like, it's not solid, you know? Like, they're not gonna do something and be like, oh yeah, this is A, B, C, and D of why I did it. It's gonna be like,
How likely are women willing to accept men for just the way men are?
Not at all. A woman wants you to be how she wants you to be, type shit. You feel me?
So why should men accept women for just the way that women are?
Cause they women, like, shit, you can't live with them, you can't live without them, for real.
that's a way.
Look, oh my God, that was great. But low key, I think it's like, when it comes to oh, you know, why do guys gotta be with women, want them to be, oh, but why can't a woman, you know, be what a guy wants them to be? I think that's not even the thing. It's that we gotta, like, meet in the middle, you know? Like, you can't like a guy naturally for who he is, because at least mattering on the typical guy, especially if you're gonna go with like I guess appeared to be climate of today, like then generally girls aren't gonna like general guys. So you can't use that. And then generally, if you're gonna go off of girls being emotional and sometimes crazy and blah blah blah, then of course generally, you know, girls are gonna be unfit. So what you do is, as the guys, you're supposed to go from their sort of unlikingness, you know, maybe attractiveness or whatnot. They work on that, just like guys work on themselves, and at some point they are a fit for girls, or girls like them, or they are what they want. Girls also got to work on themselves, and then guys are and then they are actually wanted by guys, not desired lustfully, but actually wanted. But it's all about us like coming in the middle right here, not being like, oh, you got to accept the guy for who he is, or you got to accept the girl for who she is. Nah, we have our flaws that, of course, that's why you're not going to be with me. That's why you're not going to be with me. Work on that.
Of a woman just making excuses to do whatever they feel like they want.
How likely are women willing to accept men for just the way that men are?
It's rare. It's very rare.
So why should men accept women for just the way that women are?
We shouldn't, but we do.
Who is more shallow, men or women?
Shallow?
Can you define shallow? Like,
shallow is you only go for looks, you don't look on the deeper surface.
Oh, shallow.
I hate to say it, but I'm gonna have to say women low-key.
They are, because men don't care what kind of car women have. They don't care what kind of phone you have. They don't care where you live. Women, they kind of do. Like, they care what.
They're like, well, you're broke?
Like, are you broke? Are you made of money? Like
is it good looking? Is it tall?
It's women. Women are more gold diggers than men, I would say.
But it's kind of a...
Are girls more...
It depends on the context, because sexually...
Are girls more shallow than guys? That is a question. Who's more shallow, guys or girls? Who's more shallow, guys or girls? I don't know.
Men are known to be more shallow, but materialistically, women are known to be more shallow, but are they? I mean, it really depends on the person, like Emma said.
Yeah, women more shallow for sure. They want it.
It's interesting because, like, when it comes to who's more shallow, guys or girls, it's like, you gotta really look at that, because I don't know. Because there's, of course, so many examples of guys, or at least like a example of guy, and all these many examples of why girls are shallow, but we're both. At the same time, when it comes to the reasons behind those things too, is also like, well, for example, like if a girl is shallow because she wants you to have money, of course there's a difference between she wants you to be a millionaire than just wants you to have enough money so that you can provide for yourself and of course her. You know what I mean? Like, is that shallow? Or is that what they're talking about? Or is it a thing of like, or when it comes to being attractive, right? Oh, is it shallow if she wants an attractive guy? You know what I mean? Is it, that's some...
Attractive, successful, good and bad, money. They want you to do what they say. Men just want you to be pretty and come home.
Are women more shallow because they want too many things, or are men more shallow because they only want one thing?
Men, because they only want one thing.
What are your thoughts on the following expression? A woman wants one man to satisfy her every need, while a man wants every woman to satisfy his one need.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's deep.
Wow. Wow.
I don't know. I feel like if both of those are satisfied, then I guess it would make for a good relationship. But at the same time, I don't think that's possible. Men want the cooch, but men want so much more. They want family. They want, all of that. But they're just not good at showing it. They just wanna show us that they want.
But I mean, wouldn't you say that men are often shamed for being shallow because they just want one thing?
But don't also women only want one thing?
Well, do women want one thing, or do women want a
I
lot?
want the whole package.
Women want a man. Women want a family, a home.
In other words, women want the complete package. They want a man who's going to check all the boxes.
Absolutely.
So does that make... Basically, what I'm curious about is, if men and women can both be shallow for completely different reasons, what does it mean to be shallow?
I think being shallow is just only seeing someone at surface level. And I think having preferences is just knowing what you like and what you don't like, and actually just having a high standard for yourself.
Let's say a man is only willing to find a girl attractive if she's blonde, has huge tits, kind of looks like a blow-up doll, right? Like, that's a little bit shallow. Or if a woman is only able to look at a man and be like, okay, abs, hot body, good hair, good teeth, like, I feel like that's a little bit shallow. But your preference, if it's your preference of somebody who's like, okay, I prefer somebody who's on the fitter side, doesn't mean that they have to have a full-on six-pack. It could just mean they take care of their body, they're going to the gym, you know, they're working on themselves. I personally prefer dad bods and be like, oh, daddy.
Oh my
preference. Little snuggle cuddle meat, that's what I like. So, yeah.
Are men more shallow for wanting attractive women, or women more shallow for only wanting attractive and also successful men?
I think that depends who you talk to and your interpretation of that.
So, women aren't shallow for expecting more?
I think everyone's a bit fucking shallow.
And in my previous relationships, I would say that they expect me to be the best version of myself, not just hot. You can get away with being just hot, but you want to be able to articulate yourself and have a conversation with the person, because otherwise the relationship doesn't go anywhere, and it's really unlevel.
Being a successful man, right, means you make over 6 figures, you have a nice car, nice house, nice job, and being attractive. Okay, cool, women want that, but that's not always going to bring you your happiness. And with men, because they only want a hot girl, again, that's not going to bring you your happiness, but it's not as shallow, because sure, men are very physical. They want something that's beautiful, and that's what's going to stimulate their mind. Women want some emotional type of connection.
I personally believe to be shallow is that you only looking on the surface. Like, hey, I think you're good looking. I think I can have sex with you, and the sex is great, but we don't even have a deeper connection. We cannot even have a conversation. When we argue, it's really, really bad. Like, that's shallow. That's really just looking on the surface of a person, not knowing them for who they are.
I mean, I think, like, attraction is what initially brings you to someone, but really, like, personality, humor, emotional connection is what makes you stay around.
Do you think women have the privilege of being more picky because they have more options?
Potentially. I know some picky men, though. Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, but for the most part, girls are gonna have more options. Even if like they're not talking to a lot of guys, or they don't have a lot of guys in their DMs, a girl's gonna just have more options, like, naturally. Like, she could DM 20 guys and have, like, more than half of them be ready to drive, take a bus somewhere, get ready to take her on a date, see her, talk to her, even sometimes send her freaking money, you know? But a guy, I can't hit up no 20 girls and expect any of that, you know what I mean?
100%.
Which isn't a problem.
I think women definitely have that privilege, you know? You go into a woman's Instagram messages and there's 100 men in there, but, you know, a guy will be lucky if he hits up 100 girls and, you know, maybe 2 get back to him.
Why is it considered a woman's preference to reject a man based on height, but it's considered shallow if a man rejects a woman based on weight?
Is it, though? I mean, okay, again, you're asking somebody who is very open. But yes, I do.
Is it if a girl only wants, like, a 6'5" guy, yeah, I guess you could say it's shallow. But if a girl says she wants a guy who's, like, taller than her, you know, I think that's cool, you know. And if a guy says, I want my girl to be fit, that's cool as well. There's a difference between, you know, she must be a hot, 6-pack ab, big titty, you know, maybe that's more shallow, that's more, you know, bad. But if he's like, I want, like, a thin woman, I want my woman to be thin, then that cannot be shallow.
I mean, is that a double standard?
It is a double standard because, I mean, the short king movement, right?
What's the thing? What is called weight shaming?
Body shaming.
Body shaming. So shouldn't height size be body shaming too?
Isn't it easier to change your weight than it is to change your height?
Yes.
So wouldn't it be more shallow for women to reject men based on height?
Yeah.
Why do dating apps ask about height but not weight when women have a height preference and men have a weight preference? Is that not a double standard?
Yeah, it is. I kind of feel like the dating apps are kind of like pushing that agenda.
Do you believe that anyone can be in anyone's league?
No.
What?
Yeah, I don't think anybody can be in anyone's league, but I'm going to continue that.
What does it mean to be out of somebody's league?
You're just not attracted to that type of person. Like, It can be personality-wise, physically, or status. It's just you're not attracted to that kind of person at all. So,
what is pansexual?
I have no idea.
Where'd this question come?
So I don't know the actual definition, but for me, I feel like it means like you love everything and are attracted to everything. You're attracted to a man, to a woman, to somebody who's transgender. Like
it essentially means you can be attracted to anybody regardless of gender.
Okay, so I kind of got that right? Okay.
Would you assume that pansexuals are the least shallow?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
If you're not pansexual, does that mean that you are shallow?
I'm not sure. I don't completely understand pansexual, so
What's the difference between pansexual and bisexual?
I've been asking myself that for years. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't know. They're the same thing. They're the same thing. To me, I don't know. I might be wrong. I might be getting canceled for that. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Based on what you said, pansexual is like being attracted to all kinds of gender, including non-binary and people who fall outside of the gender. But bisexual is being attracted to people who identify as either male or female.
Do you think sexuality for women is more mental and emotional for women than men?
Absolutely, yes. I feel like if I'm not in the right mindset, I will not orgasm for the life of me. You can try and you can try and you can try and it will not happen.
So wouldn't that mean that women are more likely to be pansexual than men are?
Absolutely, yes. I feel like sometimes I got my euphoric experience from somebody who was not a man. And that's totally fine.
Should a man be expected to love a woman for who she is if a woman only loves a man for what he provides?
No, double standard. That's not cool.
No, I think guys and girls gotta both love each other for not only what they both provide, but for both, of course, who they are. So like, of course, the guy provides what he must provide or he will provide, and the girl also has to provide something as well. And just like how she has to love him, of course, for who he is or for what type of man he is or whatever, in order for them to even be together, he would have to love her for her.
Not cool.
No, they should both love each other for who they are. And I mean, sometimes it depends on the age and the dating.
So I guess also who you are is correlated to what you provide. Right? I mean, if who you are is a, goal-driven, successful, improvement-seeking and whatnot type of person, you are going to provide differently than someone who, let's say, is a complete opposite. And therefore, you have, in those cases, since you have success to provide, which, money and accomplishments and maybe status. If you have goals that you've completed, maybe those are the goals, or you have looks and social skills and whatnot, you're gonna have more things to provide than someone who with who they are makes it to where they don't really end up providing much.
Some young women only want men for what they have, but if they're really serious, then it should be for who they are.
Who is more delusional? The average man holding out for the lingerie model, or the average woman holding out for the rich alpha male?
I think the average male that's waiting on the lingerie model.
The average man holding out for the lingerie model, because lingerie model ain't the average woman. You can't be, you feel me?
But can't the man improve himself to the point where he can attract most of the lingerie?
Yeah, he for sure can.
All right, I'm gonna stop the video here. The video's getting pretty long. I hope whoever's seen this, whoever you might be, enjoys. Thank you. Subscribe if you like it. Like if you like it. And more videos coming.